right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the work session for October 3rd, 2023 at 6 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Orndorff.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Here.
Commissioner Watson.
Here.
Commissioner Romanek.
Here.
Could all stand for the salute of the flag, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to this agenda?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Public comment on agenda items only. If anybody has any questions, concerns on the agenda items, please come to the podium, state your name and those comments. Seeing nobody, we'll close the public comment portion on agenda items and go to discussion of commissioners. Commissioner Romanek.
Yes, Mayor. At this time, I do not have anything. Thank you.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Commissioner Watson.
Let's see. Under the agenda, it's for the cycle race or the cycle time trials, I think it was. It kind of keeps coming up every year and it keeps going back and forth. Kind of wanted to talk about it in the work session. Basically, it's kind of like my thoughts. We just looking over the concerns from the other departments. I'm a big believer in standing behind the departments that you work with, and I do appreciate the concerns that they have, and I want to consider them. One of the biggest things is getting into conversation was the safety part of it, how we're going to get to the riders if somebody got hurt. And I don't know if we can open it up for discussion real quick, or
Sure.
I guess there was, I'm not 100% sure, but there was an issue with the drawing or where they were going, or having the opportunity to get to them if something got hurt, if a rider got hurt. That was a concern. Is there a way that we can come up with an idea to help this club out and see if they can provide something to help themselves have this event safely?
Well, think back a couple meetings ago, we gave our approval for a ride.
Yep.
We gave our approval last year for this ride.
Correct.
The approval we gave 2 meetings ago, I believe, it might have been 3. It was a different organization. They had a complete action plan. They had a complete, readable, viable roadmap where they were going to be going. They didn't come on our property over there. They had Cumberland County Sheriffs running road patrol and road crossings. They had Inspira Hospitals, Inspira ambulance system there with them throughout the ride, staged at different points in case of an accident, somebody getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The property they're going to be on, it's the property out by the soccer fields. This commission has spent a lot of time and effort. And first, let me be clear. I know a lot of people that ride in this ride. I have to set that aside. We have spent a lot of time and effort out there with the police, monitoring and trying to stop the riding acts, out there. There was a bit of an uptick after the last ride in activity out there on other weekends. Myself, and I'm not saying this to be smart, because I do get calls from residents and other folks on Saturdays. Hey, there's dirt bikes out here. There's trailers out here. There's U-Haul with a trailer. We got that one that night, just so you know, we got that one. Last call I got, I was out with the family on Saturday. Not the last call, but one of the most recent calls, because we have slowed it down. I was out of town, got back into town, didn't go out of my way to get back in town. It was on Saturday, I was with my family. Stopped by the soccer field on my way home. There was a trailer there, hooked to a truck. It was empty. It's usually a sign that there is a dirt bike out there somewhere. There was a few people at the soccer field. Got out of my truck, walked up. I knew a couple of them. Said, listen, have you had dirt bikes out here today? Anybody seen dirt bikes? Nope. What's that trailer? That's mine. It's my riding lawnmower. It was one of the volunteers for the soccer association. But I got a call, there's a dirt bike out there. I can't be 911 for dirt bikes out there. 911 is call, give your name, and give your issue.
Well, I can understand, and I appreciate the efforts of all involved to try to stop trespassers and people doing it the wrong way. You know, when you have an organization, a club trying to do it the correct way and trying to do it the safest possible and still enjoying the sport. So I think that should be awarded for their efforts on their side.
I can see that too. Like I say, I know a lot of people, it's a lot of people are riding this right.
Right, so I think I know it's on tonight's agenda. You know, if passes or doesn't pass, I mean, we should try to work with this club to try to make it the right way so we all feel comfortable in having them go out there and safely ride.
Well, we're also at a point, there is construction going on right now for Livoni Meat, foundation in the ground. Hopefully we have more construction out there, so it's going to end anyhow. I'll be reading some emails during, when we get ready to talk about this resolution.
Yeah,
Could you read those now if it's going to help make a better decision?
Would you
or
like
vote
me to
for
read them?
everybody?
I can.
Can I comment before you
Sure,
go on for
yeah.
another 10 minutes? This is kind of simple, really. If you look at the number of people that have gotten killed riding illegally on the roads, we have 2 last year? Illegally on the
We've
roads?
had a few, yes.
So you worry about safety. It's a lot more unsafe for them to ride on the roads than it is to ride in the woods. We had no major incidents the last time these guys rode. They're trying to do things legally. So do we want to say no to that? And yet, the people who are doing stuff illegally, they can do it all day long. They can
And-
ride up and down here, nobody will stop them.
I don't think
Nobody's
that's
going
the
to say it's
point.
not safe. Nobody's going to say, ooh,
Well, they do say it's not safe,
they
agree
just say
with
it's
you,
not
but-
safe and nobody's going to stop them.
but our hands are tied. We all know that. They're not tied by the
So
city.
if they didn't, so here
for,
you
for
go.
in town.
So here you go. So if they came and they did it without any permission, it would be okay because we wouldn't have to give them permission. We couldn't stop them.
No, because then the call would come and we
Well,
had to
couldn't
get.
stop them if they couldn't chase them.
On our property, we can.
How? They're not chasing them?
There's 2 ways in and out. They got to come back to their trucks.
Well, then.
They park at the
but
soccer
If it's so
complex.
easy to get them while they're in the woods, then what's the big deal about picking them up with an ambulance if you can get in the woods and get them?
Well, to address that, go ahead, finish up.
Anyway, that's all I got to say.
I think
People
our
want to do shit
just-
legally, you should let them do it.
Our point, Steve and my point was, I think that if, from the email that I think we saw from Officer Stadnick was that last year the map that was provided was not correct. And I'm just asking if, since they were asking for an accurate map, was that submitted? I voted yes for it last year, nothing happened. I voted for the last one this year, nothing happened. I think it's great that we have the properties that people are allowed to use this sport, and I just want to make sure that we have an accurate map that if something does happen, that we are able to access them. That is all I'm asking for. I just want to know if that was received.
If
or
I
if
may,
we can make sure
one-
that's
One option that
done.
you have is, you could move to amend the resolution of approval and include a condition in there that it's conditioned on them providing an accurate map within, 5 days or whatever, or 3 days or something like that, then that would give them an incentive to provide the map.
No, and I
that
think
could
that
help
still
would.
get
public
them the-
safety
right.
arrange.
And you could
if
still
anybody
do
had,
the
you know.
approval tonight, and they wouldn't have to come back again.
Correct.
This is almost like having a lifeguard at everybody's personal swimming pool, but hey.
I just would like to have an accurate map, and then I feel better that if something, we're 2 miles off, we're out. That's all. That's all my
Well,
thing is.
just-
That's,
You can have the map, and they go 2 miles off, so what? What's the difference?
hopefully we can get there a little bit sooner.
What's the
That's all.
difference?
Well, would you like me to go over some of these emails, Mayor?
I mean, if they're different than the ones that we've received, that'd be great, but I
I
read
don't think you
Stadnick's, I read Chief
Chief's,
Lippincott,
okay. Okay,
I've
so
read all
you
of
got
those
them.
emails
Yeah.
that we all
Did you
received.
get the one from Mention Shorts Agency late this afternoon?
I haven't been in my email since probably 3 o'clock, so
Yeah,
if that's a
I
new
think it was
one.
3:30. I think it was about 3:30.
I didn't read that one. If you wanted to share that one with us, that's fine.
Yeah, I did see it, but yes, we all got it.
It's the same as last year. They have their own coverage, the cycle organization.
Correct.
But I'll read it for you. There's no sense in figuring it out my way. The first email was the city of Millville is listed as certificate holder, a copy of the full policy to review. That is what the men's agency is requesting to give their full approval on this. They go on to say, while the insurance provided technically meets the requirements, our reservations when this event was held last time stand. As the Parks Department, Police Department, Traffic Departments have already stated, there are substantial safety concerns with an event like this. While $1 million general liability limit technically meets the requested limit, as your risk manager, I find the other department's concerns warranted. It goes on in a separate email. As the Parks Department, Police, and Traffic Departments have already stated, there are substantial safety concerns. Just a little bit of a repeat. While the $1 million general liability limit technically meets the requested limit, there are often forms and endorsements on policies that can expand or limit coverages. As
Since
your
we-
risk
Sorry.
As your risk manager, I find the other department's concerns warranted. If the city still does plan on moving forward with this event, I will need a revised certificate and policy documents to do more thorough review prior to a reviewing. That is from Julian Connor.
I have a couple questions, and either solicitor or vice mayor, can you help and answer them? So these special events keep coming in front of us, and to vice mayor's point is, are we going to go out there and stop them since they're illegally riding, or are we just going to let them do what they're doing? Is there some way we can make an amended resolution ordinance to whatever the special events is for this particular type of event to make sure that they're meeting like certain conditions before we approve it? Or can we just say, hey, since we're not going to take the advice from our department heads, why are we bringing this to the table if we're just going to let it happen?
I agree.
The first thing I'll say is about taking advice from your department heads. You guys know the mess we walked into here? You know why it came that way? Because the other commission sat up here and said, I have to listen to my professionals. And they listened to their professionals. And this place turned into a crap hole. So you're responsible for the decisions you make. Don't pass it down the line on the department heads. You can take their advice, but it's up to you to make the decision. Not them, or else what the hell are you here for?
Me personally, I don't want my department head to think that I don't appreciate
understand
their
that.
opinion. And I do understand that public safety, we have those concerns. And we're just trying to make sure that it's safe for both the city and the residents, and also the people who are participating in the event, and make sure it's a clean, even process that goes forth. Because every time it comes to us, it seems like there's a back and forth.
Last
People
year,
want to
there
vote
wasn't
for
much
it,
back
people
and
don't want to
forth.
vote for it.
Well, you could make you can amend the resolution and make it a conditional approval. Make it a condition upon providing a map of the planned course. You could have another condition that they have to satisfy the requirements of the city's insurance company.
It would be,
To answer Commissioner Watson's question,
it's not a resolution.
what's it take to get back to them if somebody gets hurt?
It was just a concern that was
Well, if you
issued
go
by
down-
department heads and public safety.
If you-
And I'm going to make my judgment calls based off people that have many years running their departments,
Yep.
that have been here, and I'm only going to be here maybe for 3 years on this term, correct? So those department heads have worked here for many years.
Yep.
And they're going to be here for many years after I leave if I don't run again. So I'm going to listen to them.
And-
And I want to make it clear that I am listening to public safety, chief of police, and the chief of fire, EMS, and all their concerns. And I want to make it right to where the people that are enjoying this sport and doing it the right way are awarded for their position on trying to get this done the right way. That's what I would like. That was the only way I was going. We don't have to get off topic and jump
No,
to many different things and make
well,
comments about our department heads.
Well, I'm going to say
So
what I
this
want
is
to
where
say.
we're going to be.
You can listen to them whenever you want, but you need to have enough brain power, intelligence, logical thought to realize they want one thing sometimes, and it's not what's best for the city, and I understand that. And sometimes you listen to them, they give you advice. It's up to you if you take it or not. They're going to give it to you, but if you take it blindly, that's a mistake. That's all I'm telling you.
We got plenty of time. We've only been talking for 16 minutes.
Sounds good.
You asked about what's it going to take to get back to, if somebody gets hurt back there in the dirt area.
Right, that was one of the
If
concerns.
you go to the end of the
Correct.
road, the asphalt, and you head up into that area, you're going to come up to a hill that an ambulance cannot traverse. We do not have a gator at EMS or a four-wheel drive vehicle to get back there to somebody. We have one at the fire department that is in very, very poor shape. That's how we would get back to them and get them out of there.
So as
It's
long
not
as
set
this-
up for a stretcher.
As long as these people are, and organizations are aware of our stance as city and what we can and can't provide to them, I think that's clear, and make sure they know our response time, that's all. And I want to make sure that there's an accurate map, just to know where they're going to be. Again, like Vice Mayor said, if they're going to do what they're going to do, we're not pulling them all over, we're not pulling the other people over, because legally we can't, we're not allowed to chase them. So they
Correct.
can all run into the woods and disappear, and we can't chase them. I understand, like Commissioner Watson said, we just want to make sure they're able to enjoy the sport and do it, and they're, trying to do the best way to do, provide information, and I appreciate that. My only thing was, I want to make sure there's a map. The map that was provided last year was not accurate. Please provide a
And it's
correct
the
map.
same one this year.
Period.
It's a photocopy of last year's map.
And there's a lot of different places, a lot of different woods that you probably would need a UTV if rescue needed, if they were riding legally or unlegally. So it sounds like we need to upgrade some equipment at the fire hall, correct?
And let me just finish on this, then we'll finish. Us denying them being in this on our property is not denying the ride. 90% of this ride is in Morris River Township. They take that little cut across to here. And I'll just finish with that, and let's all remember how much it costs per hour for police that are off duty, because they have now requested police to be there while they are on our property.
And they're paying for them, correct? It's not-
No, no mention of that. They have requested police assistance while they're on this, near the soccer
I think we need to
facility.
come up with an amended
Well, we have an
something.
ordinance that allows us to charge.
Correct,
To
I
charge
just,
them.
I
So
just wanted to
think
put
we
that
need
out there
come up
because it's
with
not
that.
in the
If they're
request.
gonna want us there, and what if we're short-staffed that weekend and we don't have them?
Yep.
I don't know what the situation ever may be. I think we need to amend it, as Brock said, if we need to charge them, charge them. Let's make this across the board so we don't have this issue every year this type of event comes up. That's all. Okay. Are you good, Commissioner Watson? Anything else this evening? Okay. Vice Mayor.
No, I'm just surprised we spent so much time talking about that and not talking about any of the money we're going to spend tonight. That's okay. That's all.
Okay. So I have a couple questions. I personally wanted to go over this. I briefly spoke with Brock, and bear with me.
The AirCom.
Yeah, ACOM. The new contract would be a total of $385,000. I don't know if Brock or Joe, if you want to just.
It's for upgrades to the sewer plant and other redesigns.
Okay. I mean, I read the new services that they were going to be providing, and
That's it.
okay. And where is that money, that additional funds coming from? Is
Now
that?
the bond from the trust.
Okay.
And they provide actually design and supervision work, Vice Mayor. Isn't that what they do? And they've been doing that for as long as I can be.
Yep,
I've been
correct.
here.
They've been doing it forever for us.
Okay. The only other things that I wanted to mention, I think we received an email about nonprofits for the city to take into consideration the 2% funds that we would be receiving back for cannabis, and designating a portion of that to nonprofits. I just want to put it out there, since we did receive those. I want the public to know that we did receive those emails. I know I read it. Wanted to bring it upon our board. I know we're still, cannabis it's come to the city, but it has not actually broke ground and really got moving yet. We're not receiving those funds. But would it be something that we could do, this is just my personal thought, and everybody can chime in on their thoughts, is if, again, this is going to be a learning process for all of us. We don't know what annually we're going to be receiving from that 2%. but would there be a possibility that we could set aside a portion of that for just nonprofits and maybe have those nonprofits apply for the funds that they're asking for, kind of like the CDBG, and there might be a committee that would say, okay, well, yeah, you can have $500, or, again, this is just my thought.
Well, you could do that, and then the tax rate will depend on how much you do that with, how much you want to raise taxes to. That's, hopefully we would use that to offset costs for the city. If we do it correctly, you may even be able to lower taxes if they're halfway with their revenue estimates. If you'd rather give it to nonprofits, then we could make a resolution and give it to nonprofits.
I'm not saying all of it, I'm saying would there be a
But whatever
possibility
part
to
of
do
it.
a portion of that? I mean, yes, it would be great to lower taxes and, alleviate some stress
You
elsewhere.
could do 1%, you could do 2%, but quite frankly, I find a lot of the nonprofits doing projects, and, you look at some of the nonprofits that worked on Buck Street and High Street, and what got done for all the millions of dollars that were spent. Millions and millions of dollars were spent by nonprofits, and again, here we are in this mess, and we're fixing it now. And they want more money for what purpose?
I understand, that was just my thought process on that email that
That's-
came to
that's why
us,
I'm asking you.
and so
Yeah, that's why I'm
like the
asking.
one was for the Little League, and I mean, I think our Little League park could use some work, and if it's $500 for seating,
We
I
have-
think that would be nice to be able to help them out a little bit, just,
Well,
but,
we take care of that a lot. I mean, if you did that, you would only be offsetting a different expense from the city.
why, yeah, I
Like
know that we
something's like,
do,
you know,
but there
when a
are
roof
things that
needs-
they do themselves
True, but
to,
like when a roof needs replacing, we pay for that. When they needed a lawnmower, the city bought the lawnmowers because they were willing to cut the grass. The building needs fixing, electric needs fixing, the city takes care of that.
how about
Now,
the,
if
go
you want to
ahead,
get
Ron,
more
if
for,
there's-
because the kids need money for uniforms, that's all something that can discuss, but it's all, it's all pot of money, and we have to decide where it's gonna go, and all I'm saying is that's part of our job to do that. So can we do it? The answer is yes. We can do it.
does everybody want to do? I'm just,
That's
it
the
was just,
question.
it
Yeah.
was
Wanna
just
do it.
putting it out there, and it's a thought
think-
process when we come into actually receiving those
Yeah,
funds when it
I think we
happens.
should see how much we're gonna receive.
Yeah.
Right,
And when
again, we
we're
don't
gonna
know
receive it,
when,
and if anybody ever gets approval to build anything here because of the state,
correct.
then it's a conversation for that time.
One thing you may want to take into account is, most of these projects, or a lot of them are redevelopment projects on city property, and when the developer comes, that's what they're offering basically to you in lieu of, whatever the taxes might be, so it's kind of a package. And then the commission has to decide, do we want the cannabis company to be developing the site and paying us perhaps a 2% tax, or is there another developer we would rather have there? So you have that issue as well that you have to take a look at.
I appreciate that. I
My-
just
myself,
wanted
I
to bring it
think-
up, that's
Yeah,
all.
we can do
Myself,
what we
I
want.
thank you for bringing that up, because
We can do what we want.
I wanted to talk about that when it comes up, as in comments later. The way I look at it is a lot like you're looking at it. Vice Mayor's got good thoughts. I look at it, we're putting the cart ahead of the horse a little bit here. We don't even know when we'll start the next commission will probably have the income from cannabis. And,
Absolutely, I just
yeah.
want to know, I
'Cause, yeah,
want
we
the
got
public
three-
who emailed us to know that we got the
Yeah.
email,
Yes,
one,
we did.
received it, and we've now brought it up in front of the
Yeah.
commission and
You know,
have discussed
Kind
it.
of look at it, we brought up public safety a little while ago, right? So a new ambulance and something new to run through the woods rather than giving it to a nonprofit to use at their discretion, right? Because we already allow for some of that already.
While we're talking here, I guess, because we have RFPs coming up, we're at the end of the year. With a lot of that equipment that we need for the city, we should really talk about our, the grants that are out there. We don't have a grant writer in-house. We've talked about that before. Is that something that we're considering for next year to make sure we are working with like Triad or something like that to utilize that grant money for larger equipment versus bonding them or trying to find the money and the means to pay for
Well, I can
something?
tell you that engineering applies for grants all the time and very successful at getting them. Other departments also apply for grants. Sam Cruz has applied for grants and gotten grants. So we contract out to the Holly City Development Corporation. They get grants for downtown. We contract out through the MPP program, UEZ program. They get, approximately $300,000 a year, maybe a little more for their contracted services. They're very successful at getting grants. So the library, I don't know what they're doing other than building that beautiful building over there. But I'm sure they apply for grants. So Could we use more grants? Of course we could use more. So I don't know if you have somebody in mind, and we've had people offer to write grants before.
Well, we've
and
had
then when we
discussion
tried
with
to get them to
Triad
do it, then
before.
they didn't do it, so.
We've had discussion with Triad before that they offer that service, and I'm thinking public safety wise, we need equipment, and other cities that I've talked to is that we get grants for a lot of the bigger equipment that is a must need to run the departments, and I just don't feel like we utilize grants for public safety as much as we
Did Triad
possibly
give you-
could.
Did Triad give you a price for any of these grants? They work off a percentage of the grant they get?
So
How do they do it?
they only get paid, if I remember correctly, this is almost a year and a half ago, that if we get the grant, if we're awarded the grant, then they would get paid for it.
Correct.
Do I know how much off the top of my head? I don't know. I'd have to look back in the email or
Yeah,
whatever she provided.
Any follow-up since, conversation since then, or no?
I haven't talked to Triad since that's really not in my wheelhouse on my department right now. I mean, I can definitely follow up with Melissa. That's not, it's an easy email to shoot. So
Yeah.
that was just my thoughts, and I have one more.
Is that something we want to find out? Like, I have no problem reaching out to
You're
Triad.
probably more in contact
Why
with
not?
Triad at this point than I am, so if you wanna shoot her an email and just CC me in that,
Will do.
I brought it up, that'd be great, and I know she could reiterate everything in an email. I'm gonna push one more button. Sorry, why we're all here, we can talk, and that's why we're here. We hosted the county commission this past week, and I thought it was nice that they did ask if they could kind of travel throughout the county and be visible to each community to see what the county does versus what the city does. And a number of us attended that meeting, and every single one of us had to walk into the sheriff and his crew who had to go through our purses and do metal detectors. I feel that this is becoming more and more frequent. Going to the football games, we get wanded down. I can't take a purse into a football game. I have to have a clear bag. I'm just wondering what our thoughts are on the city level as far as public safety and our employee safety coming into the building. Anybody can walk into this building at any time and not let anybody know that they're here. If there was a fire, we don't know that Mary's downstairs paying her taxes. I go into Rick Avenue, I have to put my name down and say where I'm going. I'm just thinking of the safety of our employees, any resident that walks into this building, and as anybody who may be sitting in this chambers at any time, what are we thinking about for our safety?
So you have internal affairs on the third floor. When you walk in the door, there's usually 2 police officers there. You have the police station next door, and now on the first floor, you're gonna have substantially more police as part of the police department is getting moved there. As far as people in the building, we don't even know what employees are in the building when. So we have inspectors in and out. We have code enforcement in and out. Do I think we need police at the commission meeting on a regular basis? No, I don't. Do you want to do it? Entirely up to you. All you got to do is put a resolution in, we vote on it, and do it. Do I feel scared coming in this building? Haven't felt scared coming in this building in my entire life. Maybe that's because my background's a little different than other people's backgrounds. I'm used to being with criminals, which makes me perfect to be a politician. So, am I scared? No. Do I think we need more security? I do not think we need more security. We have more security in this building than they have at the banks in town. And is there a chance somebody will get hurt? There's always a chance somebody will get hurt. The odds, you play the odds, we're better off having cops on the street or cops in commission chambers. I think we're better off having them on the street. Of course, there's an associated cost, but
I'm just thinking of our schools are taking the steps to make sure their staff, students are protected, that anybody walks in, you can't deliver flowers without having a name and who you are going into the building. You go to Vineland City Hall, you go through a metal detector. You have to let somebody know where you're going. You can't go anywhere without letting somebody know.
You know, it's interesting, you talk about Vineland City Hall, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I talked to Bill Davis, and he was there the other day, and whoever the security was, he told him in about 5 minutes how to defeat all that security, and it would be so simple, it's not funny.
But they do still have to acknowledge who they are and where they're going in the building.
You can get around it very easily, and I don't want to tell you how, but anybody that wants to will.
Okay, I just wanted to
But, you
bring
know,
that up
it's-
as well,
If
so.
you're not, if you don't feel safe and you want.
It's not that I don't feel safe. I am just thinking about the city employees and any resident that may walk into the building. Like, that's just my
No, I
thought. And if
understand.
anybody feels the
Valid
same way,
concern.
great. If not,
Valid
then at
concern.
least I brought it up, so.
No, I don't know what the other guys think. That's what I think.
I
know
don't
what
know.
they think.
They don't.
What do you guys think?
I support it. It's a public building. There's two sides of it. A, we're in a public building. Everybody that does pay taxes has the right to come in here. But are there bad people in the world? Is it 2023? Do we watch the news? Yes, yes, yes. Who watches the news? I don't know. There's many sides to this argument, but it is for us to make that decision, and I will support that decision if we come to that decision.
Thank you.
My comment will be, I agree, to a point. If I need to pick up one of these phones right now and call a direct line to the sergeant, they will be here within seconds. Because there's always at least one sergeant in the house over there. It's always been that way. We have called over there a couple other times since we've been in commission. I just don't like the optics. I didn't like the optics when I walked in the other day for the county commission meeting. But I know they do it all the time, so I
They do it all the
expected it.
time, yeah.
Well, the sheriff is here. He's running for office.
I know. He reached out and shook my hand because it's election time. Yeah. But that's where I stand at. It's very quick to call a direct line and they'll be here.
It's something that
That
should be,
doesn't stop
something
them.
that should, I'm sorry.
No, go
Go ahead
ahead.
if you need to. I think it's something that should be considered. I mean, there's a lot of people that come in City Hall, they're very upset or frustrated with the situation that they're in. I was upset last year when I was trying to get my pole barn built because it was just not happening on the upstairs. I was very upset, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more heated discussions than just a pole barn, but we had a situation up here, we had multiple people yelling at each other. And, I mean, it's all over now.
This
She's
doesn't
right.
do too much.
No. And it's, I mean, maybe not to stop a threat, but at least to slow it down, to give the right response a chance to show up before anything bad happens, should be considered. You
Our
know,
kids have to go through metal detectors every day now
Right.
at the high school.
There's
Which,
two main entrances to this building, right?
Yeah. Too.
Right? If there was blockades just to keep it in there, so you're paying your bill, if you have to go somewhere else, you check in, you get a little badge, and you go up, do what you got to do, and then go out. That should be considered.
I think it's something that we need to consider, and I don't know how to go about that, Brock, but maybe you can guide me and you can
I
work on
think
that. I
it's-
don't know if there's something that we
I
need
will say
to.
that schools are more dangerous than City Hall.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they are. There are a bunch of hormonal teenagers running around. I wouldn't feel too safe either. But I mean, I know that my daughter alone walking into school, and this is what I told her. You know, Mom, we have to go through a metal detector. Am I going to go off? She's got titanium rods in her back. No, Bridget, you're not going to go off. However, they're not really stopping the threat of you walking in. With you possibly doing something. It's the kid that didn't get caught because they're only doing 10 people at a time. It's not everybody. So it's the 8th person that didn't get scanned, who necessarily doesn't have something in his wallet or book bag, that he's going to come into an English class and take his anger out on somebody. You know, it's the same thing. If somebody comes into a planning board meeting, a zoning board meeting, our meeting, the court system, or comes into Jeannie and says, you messed something up and I'm not happy about it, and they're frustrated. That's just my thought process. I wanted to see what everybody's thought was, and if we could possibly look into it. I know there's costs associated with it. I know there's a lot that goes into it, but I feel that if other organizations within our city are making it happen, I think we should at least consider it as well.
I think we should do it to prevent a situation before it becomes a tragedy, and we have to do something about it.
Amen.
Commissioner, just a question, Commissioner or Vice Mayor, or rather, okay. Commissioner.
Who were you
Hewitt.
talking to?
I don't know, because it's like it's a finance related. Couldn't they just assign somebody from shift, like make it a shift or something?
Then
I don't
I'm
know.
pulling somebody off the
Then you're
street.
pulling somebody off the street.
All right.
The other day I had 5 officers on the street on the weekend.
The yin and the yang, yes.
Look, I'm just pointing out the cons. You guys are pointing out the pros. So
Let's start here. I got a starting point. Let's fix the panic buttons that every floor has. Let's get with Revell. They're in-house now 2 days a week and see how much it would cost to fix the panic buttons that are a direct contact for the employees to the police department.
I like
congratulations,
that.
You
That's
just told
a-
everybody they were broken.
Everybody knows they're broken. They all tell everybody.
We had a situation on the
broken for
5th
years.
floor last year where not happy resident was coming in and was screaming at 5th floor people, and her button was not working at the time. I believe hers is now working. Phone calls are made by other employees, and we didn't get a response. So we made the changes that we made on the 5th floor, adding a door so they're not able to come into the office, and made those changes, which I feel that the girls and other employees up there felt a little bit more secure and safe than being face-to-face confronted by a resident. So we made those adjustments. I appreciate everybody's comments and agreeing, disagreeing. It's fine. This is what we're supposed to do. We're never all going to see eye to eye, but I appreciate it. And I don't know if, again, Brock, if this is something that how we move forward.
Well, I think it's a matter of policy. I don't know that it's something that would need to be in an ordinance. I think that you as a commission would have to decide what you want to do, and I think that Mr. Hewitt's the Commissioner of Public Safety, so he obviously has a lot to say about that conversation in terms of how you would address it. Do you have someone downstairs that's checking people before meetings with one of those wands? Some other metal detector? Do you have a special up here when there's a meeting? I mean, those are things you have to decide whether you want to do that or not. Or do you want to just leave things the way they are?
I'll commit to opening the discussion with the chief and see what his thoughts are. See what cost factor. I know what it costs. All of us know what it costs because we bought it. We secured the court with a new metal detector and a new video system.
Yeah.
So we know some of the cost factors. I will commit to opening up conversation with the chief and the people that would have input to it. And then we can, I think this would be best until we bring something forward to be talked about. Maybe, I don't know, you lead me, Brock, whether it's behind, in a closed session,
There's no reason to have both. I
or,
don't think there's a
until we come to a decision, just to bounce things around. Because we can get out of order behind closed doors.
I mean, if you're discussing security details and things like that, I think that could be done in a closed
I
session.
don't know what exemption.
And then once we come to an
is for that.
agreement, then of course
No, I
it
don't
comes
think
to the
there's an
public.
exemption for that.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be a
Talk to
meeting,
the chief, see what you need.
Yeah.
See how much
like,
it costs.
with just two commissioners.
Yeah.
I'll get that done.
I appreciate that.
Or you could appoint a subcommittee
That would be appropriate.
of 2 commissioners and maybe perhaps me or maybe
We would probably
the chief.
do that after I got a little bit of a feel
Yeah.
of what we had to
Yeah,
offer.
start the conversation, get the information,
Let me
and
get
then we
started.
can go from there.
study it, and
until-
then there could be a report, and that would be deliberative, so that could be circulated.
That works. Okay, that's all I had. Sorry for the lengthy comments and questions, but I appreciate everybody's feedback and the ability to talk all at one time. Do you have any new business this evening?
No, Mayor, we do not.
I think I took the time of new business and into the new meeting. Any public comment for our work session? If anybody would like to come to the podium, state your comments, and we just ask that you limit those to 5 minutes because I know we are getting close to our 7 o'clock meeting as well. Sorry. Oh, can you just turn on that mic? I do apologize, sir. Unless, or Jeannie, thank you.
You'll see a green light.
Gotcha. Is that better?
Yes.
I really don't need a microphone, but there's a few people here that know me. My name is Eldon Paul Hamus. I'm president of Tri-County Sportsman Motorcycle Club. I'm just here to try to dispel any issues that may be coming arise of the permit that we have in for our dual sport event. I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have. I'm sorry I couldn't be here sooner. I do work till 6 p.m. and I flew down from Vineland to get here as quick as I could. And I'm assuming that it's already been discussed, so.
You came in just time.
But I'm here to answer any questions that you have and maybe make your mind at ease as what's going on. And that's why I'm here.
I have one.
Yes,
Is the
sir.
map you submitted accurate?
As accurate as it can be for a map.
Thank
It's nothing that I haven't used in the past. This will be our 3rd or 4th year that we've approached you folks for this. We haven't had any issues. We've had police on scene, emergency. I spoke to Mr. Feldes from the rescue department, and they're notified that we'll be in town, and they'll be on not standby, but they are actively notified that we will be here. I don't know what else you would like to know, or,
I'm asking because you missed the discussion, so I'm asking
Okay.
a couple questions that came up.
Very
They weren't
good.
my questions.
and
but,
that's, okay.
Yeah, we were
So
just,
let's say somebody gets hurt out there.
It's,
How do you notify
we
the
have-
authorities they got hurt?
we have trail people checking the trail intermittently between sections. We have people assigned to each area. They go through. This is an organized, just a ride. It's not a race. People that do this come from all over the country, and they know the protocol. If somebody gets hurt, the next guy relays it to the next guy at a section where we have somebody standing by, and they notify them from there. Most everybody today has a cell phone on them. They pick up the phone and call 911 themselves sometimes if they have to. I will say that in an organized event that we put on, and we have a race or a timekeeping event and somebody's gotten hurt, it's been matter of moments before we've had somebody there. We're very well organized. We've been doing this for many years.
No problem getting anybody out of the woods.
No
or anything
problem.
like that.
We've never had an issue getting anybody out of the woods. We've worked with every rescue company that we've ever had, whether it been the old Millville Rescue Squad in Spear, anybody out of Marsh River Township Emergency Management, anything that we've ever had to do, we've never had an issue. We've had the people that have gotten hurt compliment us on how fast we got them out of the woods.
How many years have you been doing this here?
Our club has been organized since 1964. We've been doing enduros and hare scrambles since then. Dual sports are relatively new. We've been doing dual sports now for 20 plus years. The city of Millville, this is the first couple of years, like I said, the last 3 or 4 that we've done it up in the Millville area. We're atypically down in Marsh River Township, headed south. Land is becoming tighter and tighter due to certain reasons. We've expanded our horizons. We've got several landowners on this side of the river, which I call, I'm from Marsh River originally, so I call it the other side of the river. We have people that let us use land. I have a 200-acre parcel over on Buckshootum Road that I use. I've been using for years. I have some stuff down in Commercial Township that's privately owned that they let us use. They're all listed on our insurance policy, as you folks are. We have recognition from the American Motorcycle Association. We've won several awards for this event throughout the country. We're not the guys that are riding up and down 2nd Street doing all
No,
that.
we know that. I don't think that was any of our concerns.
Okay.
Our concerns is our department heads, our public safety had made us aware of their concerns. We just want to make, my question was, and the reason for my question was, Officer Stadnick, Sergeant Stadnick, said that the map that was submitted last year was not completely accurate. I just want to make sure there was an accurate map submitted so that if something does happen, that we're able to get to that location.
And I'll be
that's
more
our-
than glad to go over that map with him at his convenience if he wants to question it.
And if there's anything else that was left relayed to public safety, because I think there was some other
I'll
concerns.
put just one thing
I
out.
just want to make sure that that's
Okay.
resolved.
Fair enough.
Myself, from my department, from the police department, I'm gonna ask you to step into our shoes right now.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Can
Okay.
I don't want to be rude, that's
Yeah.
5 minutes, and I know I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anybody else, but I don't know if we want to just talk on the side about this so we can resolve it and get him all the information, or he get us all the information, just so you know that was 5 minutes, so, that's all.
Put yourself in our shoes, me as public safety director, my chiefs.
Yes, sir.
We put a hard push, paying overtime, having officers, having residents call to stop the activity out there on
Correct.
our property.
Very aware of it. I agree with
And
that.
now I, as public safety commissioner, am being asked to vote yes to let this happen when my guys are out there every week and on every call. Put
And
yourself in my shoes.
I understand. And my quick comment to that is, we are doing this legitimately. We are legal. We're organized. We're not out there running amok. We're in, we're out. We're paying. We paid last year for police security for that day. We're doing it again this year. We paid for 2 officers last year. And we're willing to do that again this year.
Okay,
And
that's all I got.
that's in the permit. That note was in the permit. I thank you
Thank
folks for your time.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else, we'll close the public comment portion for the work session. Oh, sorry. And their closing comments for Commissioners. Commissioner Romanek?
Nothing at this time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Watson?
Nothing at this time, thanks.
Commissioner, well, however you want to do it, I'm looking at you.
Good discussions today, thank you.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't have any else. I do again, thank you for the comments you all provided, and just being able to do this as we're allowed to in this setting. That's all I have. We have no other resolutions, correct? Madam
Correct.
Clerk? Okay, I just need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion?
All in favor?